Good afternoon. My name is Annetta Linwood, and I'm here to discuss the Osmosis Gummy Bear Lab. So let's get started. So we were instructed to, oh, and the caveat, I'm reading from a PowerPoint, which will be attached along with the link to my video. So I'm reading from a PowerPoint, which will give you a better idea of the instructions, the photos, and the results of the lab. So let's get started. The instructions were to soak a gummy bear in tap water for 6 to 10 hours. Then we were to soak another gummy bear in salt saturated water for another 6 to 10 hours. So after the 6 to 10 hours, the gummy bears were taken out of the salt water solution and the water and compared to a normal gummy bear. So what I did, I used 2 solo cups, which next time I'll probably use 2 clear glasses to give you a better idea of kind of the before and after if I ever have to do an experiment again. Also, I use Morton's sea salt for my lab, and I used gummy bears from the nearest convenience store to do my lab. So on the next 2 slides are actually photos of the lab, which, like I said, I put them in a solo cup with water and salt water solution. So as you click through the slides, you'll be able to see the actual experiment, and then you'll see the results marked with the normal, the water, and the saltwater lab. So, the saltwater gummy bear. So, of course, the normal gummy bear, it wasn't affected because it didn't have any water. It wasn't any solution. The gummy bear that was in just plain water, it grew in size, and the gummy bear that was in the saltwater solution, it slightly grew. It wasn't what I expected, but I think I'll touch a little bit more on that in the next in this next few slides. So what happened with the gummy bear? So the gummy bear in the saltwater solution, as I said, it increased in size. It increased in size due to osmosis. So osmosis is when fluids flow from a semi through a semi-permeable membrane from a hypotonic to a hypertonic environment. So in this case, the water moved from a high water concentration area, which was outside of the membrane, into the gummy bear in through a semi-permeable membrane into the gummy bear, which was a hypertonic environment. So which allowed the water to flow through it to increase the gummy bear in size. So um I think some recommendations for me would have been to, if I could have done it differently, I think I would have measured the gummy bears. I didn't quite measure the gummy bears beforehand, so I didn't get a chance to see what the original size of the gummy bear was as opposed to the increased size. Well, I probably could have measured just a regular gummy bear. Now that I think about it, I could have just measured a regular gummy bear just to kind of see, okay, this is the size of a regular gummy bear, to see how large it increased. So just a few things that I thought about after the lab, or maybe conducted it twice just to kind of verify that it was done properly. I know it's explained that labs won't always turn out the way you want, but sometimes I guess you can do it twice just to kind of get a better idea of, if it was done correctly. So again, um, in this situation, um, the water moved through the semi-permeable membrane from a hypotonic, which is just the water solution, the solvent, to a hypertonic environment, which was inside the gummy bear. So the environment's balanced out and they become isotonic. So that's the gummy bear with the water. So now let's move on to the gummy bear with the saltwater solution. So as I stated before, um, that gummy bear only increased slightly. It wasn't a major increase. I was shocked to actually see that there wasn't a major increase, or maybe not an increase at all. I thought that the gummy bear would actually shrink in size because the salt water became the hypertonic solution, and the inside of the gummy bear would become the hypotonic. So the water would move out of the gummy bear into the hypertonic solution. So the gummy bear would have shrank, is what I suspected, but that's not what happened in this experiment. The gummy bear didn't shrink, and I guess some guesses for me would be, or some curiosities would be for me would be, what is the salt and the sugar both hypertonic, so there was no need for the water to move from one environment to the next, or maybe the saltwater molecules were too large for the water to move from one environment to the next. I'm really not sure, but uh, I was surprised to see that the gummy bear didn't increase in size. So I mean, didn't decrease in size. So as I said, the water, it didn't leave. It pretty much stayed. It increased. So just some recommendations for me would be to, like I said, measure the gummy bear before and after, just to kind of get a good idea of how much it increased. Um, Make sure the salt water just completely dissolved. I mean, I put a lot of salt in the water. I stirred it a lot just to make sure it decreased, but I mean, just to make sure it dissolved, but it didn't dissolve. Maybe it was just too much salt in the water. So maybe do a different measurement, maybe decrease the salt water. Um, I wonder if the salt that I used had an influence on the experiment. I used table salt. I wonder if sea salt would have made a difference in the experiment. Would that have made it shrink in size? So just a few things I just thought about after the fact, but the osmosis process is very cool. I really enjoyed this lab. Um, and that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.